The first thing I felt was the cold on my neck. A strange, unfamiliar draft replaced the comforting, heavy curtain of my hair. Still half dreaming, tangled in my cotton sheets, I lifted my hand to push my hair back from my face. My fingers met only air, then shocking rough ends of hair that stopped just below my ear. My eyes flew open. I scrambled out of bed, my heart a frantic bird against my ribs, and stumbled into the small en-suite bathroom. The face in the mirror was mine, but wrong. It was a vandalized portrait. My beautiful waist-length chestnut hair, years nurturing it. Leo said it felt like silk. My one vanity in a world always comparing me to my sister was gone. Chopped, jagged, uneven chunks hung around my face, barely brushing my shoulders. It looked like a toddler with safety scissors had attacked it in a fit of pique. A sound escaped me, not a scream but a wounded guttural gasp. I gripped the edge of the sink, my knuckles white, staring at the ruin. The floor around the sink was clean. No brown strands littered the tile. They had cleaned up. They had planned this. The graduation ceremony was today. My sister Elena graduated magna cum laude from Stanford. The golden child, the academic prodigy, the family's crowning achievement. And I, Maya, was merely the artistic one, the one who chose a state school for graphic design, the one with the pretty face and the distracting hair. I heard my mother's voice just last week, tinged with that familiar acidic concern. Maya, darling, don't you think all that hair is a bit much? It's Elena's day. You don't want to look like you're trying to upstage her. I had laughed it off. I should have known. With my parents, concern was never just concern. It was genuine concern. It was a warning shot. I stormed out of my room, the chopped ends slapping against my jaw. The house was quiet, Sunday morning serene. The smell of coffee and bacon wafted from the kitchen. I found them at the breakfast nook, a picture of domestic bliss. My father, David, is hidden behind the Wall Street Journal. My mother, Susan, delicately spreads jam on a toast. What did you do? My voice was a low tremor. My mother looked up, her expression a masterpiece of benign confusion. Good morning, sleepyhead. We're leaving for the airport in 2 hours. You need to get packed. My hair. I pointed to my head, as if they could have missed the brutal hack job. Who did this? My father lowered the paper, his face a mask of calm authority. We did, Maya. It was getting unruly. You looked unkempt. Today is about Elena's accomplishments, not your aesthetic. You cut my hair while I was asleep? The violation was so profound it stole my breath. You came into my room and you cut my hair? We did you a favor, my mother said smoothly, taking a sip of coffee. It was time for a change. It's just hair, sweetheart. It will grow back. Now Elena's big day won't be overshadowed by vanity. I saw it then, not just in the words, but in the satisfied glint in my mother's eye. It wasn't about neatness. It was about dimming my light. They had literally tried to cut me down to size. A fury, cold and sharp, crystallized inside me, burning away the initial shock and hurt. They wanted to play this game? Fine. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just looked at them, at their smug, righteous faces and said, okay. The confusion that flickered across their features was my first, tiny taste of satisfaction. They had expected tears, a scene. My calm unnerved them. Okay, my father repeated. It's just hair. I echoed, my voice flat. I'll get ready. I went back to my room and closed the door. I leaned against it, shaking. Then I walked to the mirror again. The girl who stared back had fire in her eyes. The haircut was awful, but it wasn't me. It was their crime etched onto my body. I picked up my phone and texted Leo. Family emergency. Don't ask. Can you come get me from SFO tonight? I'll explain. His response was immediate. Always. Flight details. I got dressed in the simple navy blue dress they'd approved for the ceremony. It was demure, elbow-length, and boring. Perfect. I packed a small bag. Then, I sat at my vanity and looked at the tools of my revenge. My makeup bag. My fingers closed around a tube of red lipstick, the exact shade my mother called tardy. The flight to San Francisco was a study in silent tension. I was polite, answering questions in monosyllables, smiling when required. I caught Elena looking at my hair with a flicker of pity, but also, I suspected, a hint of relief. Even my saintly sister wasn't immune to the competition they fostered. I said nothing. The Stanford campus was a blaze of sunshine and cardinal red. Robes billowed, families beamed, the air buzzed with triumph. We found our seats. My parents were practically vibrating with pride, their eyes glued to the stage where Elena would soon walk. As the procession began, I excused myself. "Bathroom," I murmured. Instead, I found a secluded corner behind a towering oak tree. I opened my small clutch and got to work. The red lipstick came first, a bold Hollywood swipe that defined my lips. I darkened my brows, swept a smoky shadow across my lids, and applied 2 coats of mascara. Then the piece de resistance. From the bottom of my bag, I pulled out the temporary hair color spray I'd bought at the airport pharmacy. Vibrant, electric blue. I shook the can, the ball-bearing inside rattling like a snake's warning. Holding my breath, I sprayed it directly onto their horrible, jagged bob. The blue was shocking, transformative. It turned their act of suppression into a punk rock statement. I fluffed it, making it artfully messy. I looked at my reflection in my phone screen. I looked like a different person. I looked powerful. I walked back to my seat as the dean began his opening address. My mother saw me first. Her smile froze, then cracked, then completely disintegrated. Her face went pale, then flushed a mottled red. My father followed her gaze. His jaw tightened, a muscle twitching in his temple. He leaned over, hissing, "What have you done to yourself?" I smiled sweetly, my red lips a slash of triumph. "Just a little touch-up." "You said I looked unkempt." Elena, sitting between them, glanced over. Her eyes widened, but then, to my utter shock, the corner of her mouth twitched upward. She quickly looked away, focusing on the stage. The rest of the ceremony passed in a silent, furious bubble. My parents radiated a cold, homicidal rage. Every time a relative or one of their friends came to congratulate Elena, their eyes would inevitably dart to my blue hair and dramatic makeup. My parents would stammer explanations about my rebellious phase and art school tendencies. I just smiled and shook hands, playing the part of the eccentric younger sister to perfection. The attention, which was supposed to be laser-focused on Elena, was now fractured. Every whisper, every sidelong glance was a tiny victory. After the official photos, in which I stood, a bolt of blue defiance ruining every single picture, we went to the expensive restaurant they'd booked for dinner. The tension was so thick it could have been sliced and served as an appetizer. I ordered the most expensive thing on the menu and a glass of champagne. "You're not old enough for that," my father snapped. "I'm 21, Dad," I said, holding the waiter's gaze. "I'll have the champagne." The dinner was a disaster of stilted conversation and clinking silverware. My parents were seething, their planned perfect day in ashes. Elena, to her credit, seemed more relaxed than I'd seen her in years, as if my act of defiance had taken some invisible pressure off her too. At the airport for the red-eye home, my father finally erupted. "You deliberately humiliated us today. You ruined your sister's achievement with your selfish, childish stunt." I stopped walking, turning to face him in the middle of the bustling terminal. "No," I said, my voice clear and cold. "You humiliated me. You violated me. You assaulted me while I slept because you were afraid I might look pretty. That is childish. What I did was simply show you the consequences." My mother gasped. "Assaulted? Don't be dramatic. We trimmed your hair. You stole a part of my body," I said, looking directly at her. "You don't get to do that. And you don't get to act like the victims now." I saw the flicker of doubt in her eyes, the first crack in the fortress of their righteousness. But it was too late for that. "I'm not flying back with you," I announced. "What?" my father boomed. "Don't be absurd. Your ticket is with us. I've rebooked. Leo is picking me up." I slung my bag over my shoulder. The blue hair felt like a crown. "I'll be staying with him. I think we all need some space." "Maya, you can't just..." my mother began, her voice wavering. "Watch me," I said. I turned to Elena, who was watching this unfold with an unreadable expression. "Congratulations, Elena. You really did amazing. I'm proud of you." I meant it. I hugged her, and after a moment of stiffness, she hugged me back tight. Then I walked away. I didn't look back. I could feel their stunned, impotent stares on my back all the way to the taxi stand. Leo was waiting at arrivals at JFK, his familiar, lanky frame leaning against a pillar. His eyes scanned the crowd, then landed on me. They widened, not with horror, but with sheer unadulterated awe. A slow grin spread across his face. "Whoa," he said, pulling me into a hug. He ran a hand through my blue spikes. "This is new and awesome. What the hell happened?" In the car, I told him everything. The cold feeling on my neck, the mirror, the breakfast confrontation, the blue hairspray. He listened, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. "They what?" he kept muttering. That's literally insane. That's criminal, Maya." At his apartment, he made me tea and just let me talk and cry, the adrenaline finally draining away. "So what's the plan?" he asked gently. "You can stay here as long as you need. Forever, preferably." The plan. Revenge had been the blue hair, the public defiance, the walking away. But that was just the opening salvo. They had tried to control my image, to make me smaller. True revenge, I realized, wasn't just about reacting. It was about building something they could never touch, never cut down. I threw myself into my work. My final graphic design project was a digital art series titled Body Autonomy. It featured stark, powerful self-portraits, one with my butchered hair, one with the blue transformation, and others exploring different forms of physical and personal space. I used my pain as fuel. I started freelancing, building a portfolio and a client list. A month after the haircut, as Leo and I now called it, I got an email. A small but trendy NYC gallery was hosting an emerging artist showcase on the theme of rebellion. Professor had submitted my name. They wanted my Body Autonomy series. The night of the showcase, I wore a sharp black pantsuit. My hair, now growing out, was styled in a chic, asymmetrical cut I'd paid for myself, the remaining blue tips a deliberate homage. I looked professional, successful, and utterly myself. I didn't invite my parents, but I knew, through the carefully curated images I posted on Instagram, that they would see it. I posted a picture of me standing next to my largest piece, a diptych of the before and after the haircut, titled Sanction Theft and Reclaimed. The caption was simple: "My art, my hair, my life. All my own." The gallery was a whirlwind. People were drawn to the raw emotion in the pieces. I sold 3. A blogger for a major art website interviewed me. When she asked about the inspiration, I didn't shy away. I told the story calmly and factually. The violation, the retaliation, the rebirth. Her eyes were wide with a mix of horror and fascination. A week later, the article went live. From violation to victory. The artist who turned a personal betrayal into powerful protest. The texts from my parents started trickling, and then, "Mom, we saw the article. We didn't realize it affected you so deeply." "Dad, that was a private family matter, Maya. Airing it in public is inappropriate." I didn't reply. The silence was my answer. The success was my revenge. The final act came 6 months later. I had landed a full-time, well-paying design job at a respected firm. Leo and I were moving into a bigger apartment together. I was financially independent, emotionally stronger, and finally free of the need for their approval. I sent them an email. It was concise. "Mom, Dad, I'm sure by now you've seen that I am doing well. Thriving, in fact. I have a new job, a new home, and my work is being recognized. What you did to me was wrong. It was a profound breach of trust and a violation of my bodily autonomy. I will not be discussing it with you further, as you have shown no capacity for genuine remorse, only embarrassment that your actions had consequences. I am willing to have a relationship with you moving forward, but it will be on new terms. There will be no criticism of my appearance, my choices, or my life. There will be no attempts to control or diminish me. You will treat me with the respect due to an autonomous adult. If you can agree to this, we can begin to move forward. If not, then this will be my last communication to you as a daughter under your influence. The choice is yours. Maya." I hit send. My hand didn't shake. The reply took 3 days. It was from my mother. "Maya, we are sorry for the pain we caused. We were wrong. We would like to see you if you are willing. On your terms. Love, Mom and Dad." It wasn't a perfect apology. It was stilted and dry, but it was a surrender. It was them, for the first time in my life, acknowledging that they did not hold all the power, that I had built my own. Leo framed my first gallery check. I keep it on my desk. But the real trophy, the true symbol of my revenge, is my reflection. My hair is still short, a sleek, stylish bob that I choose and maintain. Sometimes I add color, a streak of purple, a wash of rose gold. It is mine. My life, my art, my voice, all mine, unchained and unbreakable. They tried to cut me down to size. Instead, they forced me to grow roots so deep and so strong that no one will ever be able to prune me again. And that is the sweetest revenge of all. Hey everyone, I hope you felt that story right in your core. What Maya's parents did was an unbelievable violation, and her comeback, absolutely iconic. If you've ever had someone try to dim your light, you know how powerful it feels to take that power back. Don't forget to smash that like button if you were cheering for Maya the whole way through. It really helps the channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story about resilience, revenge, and reclaiming your power. We post new thrilling stories every single day. Let me know in the comments below. What would you have done in Maya's situation? And what's your favorite form of subtle revenge? Until next time, remember, your life, your hair, your rules. Stay powerful.